everybody, welcome back to my channel. While I'm working on another very quickie project that I'll be probably putting up if I haven't already, I've started prepping this very old mid-century modern kitchen set that I've had, and it's all, as you can see here, kind of broken. Whatever was here was ripped out. So I've started already to sand it all down, and it's going to get primed and put together again in pretty colors. Not quite sure what colors I've chosen, but we'll see. It'll talk to me as I am priming it. But for now, I'm in the pulling apart and sanding. But before I continued, I wanted you to see the before and go with me through the journey of getting it all ready. So the first thing, of course, is sanding. All I used was one of these nail files. These are really interesting because these are little pegs that just plug into holes, and you just kind of pull them out. As you can see, they all have those little pegs, and they get pulled out. They have holes, and there you have it. So sand it with the nail file until it's nice and rough, so that it'll pick up the primer when we put it. Of course, these are ready to be primed. These, as you can see, whatever was glued on as a strip left behind glue residue, and so that's what I'm taking off of there, taking off the colors, and getting it ready for the white primer. Same thing with the counters. They get primed down. This is the stove that needs a full cleaning, I think, before sanding it all out, to get all the oil and grease off of it first, and then I will sand it and refinish it with a fresh coat of paint. This is a Swedish kind of refrigerator, definitely European. I have no idea who the maker of this set is. I found it in one of those clearance bins in one of the miniature the Philadelphia Miniaturia, I think it was, one of those shows, and this was in a clearance ready for trash bin that the person at the table I had bought a few things from, and she basically threw it all in a bag with what I had bought, because I just found it just fascinating. It's so cute, so different from what we Americans see in our kitchens. This is the little fridge, as you can see, and it's right inside this cabinet, which I think is the funniest thing. And oops, I think I put it in there upside down. My bad. It goes like this. No, I was right the first time. It goes like this. Okay. Again, like I said, very small fridge. And of course a cabinet underneath, and the cabinet at the top. So I just found it really interesting, and I really wanted to do a clean, something junky, renovate it into a new life, I guess. And so she was nice enough to just kind of let me have it. And so now I'm finally getting around to it. It's been a few years, and I'm finally getting around to it, and I wanted to show you the before, and then of course the during, and then I will show you the after, and I'll show you a little bit of the during as I continue to sand and then prime and paint. Okay, I'll be back. finished, and if I can take this, forgot to take this off. I put a little back which now with that I may have to retouch because the tape took out some of it, but as you can see, I need more light here. Here is my, I don't know if you can see it there. But here it is finished. Alright, put a little back stone looking. And here's this one. Now turn this into a wine fridge. And I am going to get just a regular looking fridge. Stove, I painted stainless steel with black, just retouched it, and now I have this, and the sink is around here somewhere, the sink cabinet, and what I did was I retouched all the silver that was on here. Here it is. Here's the sink cabinet. Retouched with silver paint, cleaned it up really nice, and painted the cabinets. And some of the hinges were a little wonky. I tried to fix it as best as I could. And I painted the handles silver, the hinges silver. Alright. So now what's left is this cabinet that I wanted to leave to paint on camera. Now, what did I learn from these guys? Well, the most important lesson I learned was when priming, make sure you prime and it ends up looking like you could leave it white if you wanted to leave it white. Because if you just put a thin coat on it, thinking, oh, that'll be enough, you're going to end up with an unsealed wood that will crumble when you paint over it. Believe me, that happened with this one, and I had to sand it all off, wet it nice so that it was nice and clean, let it dry, and then reprime it all. And then I was able to paint it without the paint crumbling. So that was, I think, the biggest lesson I learned, was to make sure that you have it so fully primed that you could actually leave it white if you wanted to. Then it's ready for paint. Several thin coats. And I guess we all know that if you've ever refinished furniture or painted anything, several thin coats are better than a couple of thick ones. And let thoroughly dry between coats. Those are the biggest lessons in this whole thing. Now, I tried both. I tried painting with the sponge and painting with brush. Where's my brush? Here we go. And painting with brush. Okay. This is good for a lot of like quick, but I wouldn't do more than the basic coat. Because once you start going over it with this, it gets funky. Technical word. Alright, so I'm going to start with the body color. And I'm using Bare Color. I'm doing a color sample. And it's a prime with the primer in one. You still need to prime. Believe me, not enough to actually be a primer. Alright. And this is the best way if you want to try, even if you're doing it for a wall. live with it a little, you know. Buy one of these quarts, they're like $4 at Home Depot, and you're better off because then you can actually live with a little piece of the color and see how well you like it. And I eyeball everything. I guess I should have taped it off. It would have been easier, but right. There we go. Now, one thing, if you do this Behr paint, and I'm specifically saying Behr because I'm not sure that all brands have this, but this particular one, the satin Behr, is very quick drying, and if you're not careful, it will dry on you while you're still painting a section, and then it gets all sorts of gunky. So this is one of those paints that you have to go quickly because it's not a regular acrylic paint. This is actually wall paint. And like I said, it dries really, really quick. So you have to move quickly before your paint starts drying and you end up gunky. This is one of those things that you can't stop and start. So if you're in the middle of painting one section, if somebody calls you, you have to have them wait until you finish that section. Otherwise, you'll have some gunky, another new technical term. You'll have some gunky areas. And again, a few thin coats, much better than a few thick coats. Not only does it dry quicker, it'll give you a better finish. There you go. And by the time I'm done doing this, I probably can start with the next coat. And I did go back and retouch all the insides once I was done. But for now, I just try to be careful as much as I can. So there's not too much to retouch. Alright. So we'll let this dry.